Good morning and welcome to SBU-TV. I'm Jordan Mejia. And just like that, that's it. It's St. Patrick's Day, the festivities are getting underway, and this place is expected to be ramped up within the next couple hours. Make sure you drive safe, get home safely, and remember, don't drink and drive. I'm Jordan reporting for SBU-TV. Good morning and welcome to SBU-TV. I'm Jordan Mejia. The ins and outs of Yik Yak are so simple as what every user wants in an app. You just simply create an account and then you're logged in. You can post anonymously and upvote and downvote. What does that mean? Well, we just talk about it. With Rep Your Flag happening today, there are different types of foods and cultures, performances by the SBU Step Team, BSU, and even presentations. Fusion on Main is one of the fan favorites in Allegheny. With St. Patrick's Day yesterday and the weekend kicking off tonight, they are stocking up.
We do sell a lot more Irish-inspired drinks during St. Patrick's Day, probably 3 times the amount of Guinness and Irish car bombs and those types of drinks. So definitely a fun day.
The first Guinness was brewed in 1759 at St. James Gate in Dublin, Ireland. It is estimated that roughly 13 million pints of Guinness is consumed worldwide on St. Patrick's Day alone. An estimated $5.3 billion are spent on beer on the holiday.
Well, yeah, we anticipate a good crowd, probably some lines throughout the day, especially tonight. Good costumes, and that's probably it. We'll see you soon. And just like that, that's it. It's St. Patrick's Day, the festivities are getting underway, and this place is expected to be ramped up within the next couple hours. Make sure you drive safe, get home safely, and remember, don't drink and drive. I'm Jordan reporting for SBU-TV, new, now, next.
Hi, and welcome to the 3rd annual Rep Your Flag.
Rep Your Flag was this past Saturday, March 26th, and the event was one to remember. Taking place in Doyle Hall, music filled the air, and dance performances were sweeping the floor.
This doesn't just mean only something to Step Team. This means something to everyone, because everyone has a flag to represent, everyone has an heritage to represent, and this is why we need to see this more on this campus.
With Rep Your Flag happening today, there are different types of foods and cultures, performances by the SBU Step Team, BSU, and even presentations.
You see me, you see my flag. You see my flag, you see colors like my people.
St. Bonaventure University's student body is 74.9% white, 6.45% Hispanic or Latino, 5.99% Black or African American, 3.2% Asian, and 2.2% other.
Rep Your Flag is important to me and the community because as a fellow Black student here at St. Bonaventure University, it is very important for people who don't understand our culture to understand our cultures and get different perspectives and backgrounds to where we come from originally.
The event concluded with food from different backgrounds, such as jerk chicken from Jamaica, dishes from Trinidad and Dominican Republic, just to name a few. It also included rice, cornbread, and plantains. Well, that's all I have today. It was an awesome event, and I can't wait to see what they do next year. Reporting for SBU-TV, I'm Jordan Mejia. New, now, next. The Damietta Center hosted a Black History Month conversation during which they watched a TED Talk and talked about their experiences and history with one another. Brother Angel explained why more diverse creators should be taught in schools.
There's a wonderful history of diverse people who've added to the history of this country, and they're not getting any props, and I think it's part of them as an administrator to kind of say, hey, how do we include this? And then also from the student body saying, we want this.
The night continued with discussions of each other, and with Marisol Woods-Jones discussing how to keep our horizons open.
We should also commemorate joy and happiness and just love for our own identity. And that's kind of what I want this month to represent. I want the Damietta Center to also represent that as they help to celebrate this month.
The Damietta Center plans to host Cafe Damietta again for more people to have deeper discussions like this. For SBU-TV, I'm Jordan Mejia. New, now, next.
Like horror stories of like them when they actually got into the wellness center, like them not really helping them, or like invalidating their feelings or not remembering things, or like, and that was for the people that got in. There's a lot of people where they couldn't get an appointment, just like me.
Students sharing what they're calling horror stories from the counseling center. Bryce suffers from depression. He was able to get an appointment, but it was canceled. He tells us his counselor was out sick.
Even just like, called me back and be like, hey, sorry, like, we want to help. I didn't even get that. They just left me hanging after that.
He says he wanted another appointment but wasn't offered one. The counseling center says that they did offer Bryce a later appointment that same day, but anyways, he had this to say.
I didn't really want to go to them after that.
Bryce isn't alone in his complaints.
I got in contact with this one lady, and she went over the intake forms for about 2 months, and she would forget that I filled out the intake forms and would want me to fill them out again. And I think the counseling center, they need to actually get some competent therapists.
Fiona levying a hard charge against the counseling center, but the counseling center says they're overwhelmed with students who want to see a counselor.
Right now, everybody wants individual counseling, and there's not enough time in a day to provide that to every single student who wants it.
Even though 8 to 10 students are requesting counselors each day, the counseling center has no plans to hire more staff.
So that's not really helping us anymore. It's not helping us to just continue to add counselors. There has to be something different.
For SBU-TV, I'm Kurt Martone.